an impromptu video lecture that I thought would be more helpful than trying to write everything out. So you all don't have to do any more reading as you are in the abyss of studying for finals and finishing your capstones and doing all the crazy stuff that everyone's doing now. So I'm going to do a quick video to just offer you a few quick pointers, things that I see students often kind of miss as they're doing. And also I'm going to just put all this in a nutshell to make it kind of more straightforward, casual, on the nose what you're doing. So let's take a look at these real quick. So 4.1 in a nutshell. What you're doing with 4.1, think of this as you're reaching out to a new client who has never met you and doesn't know who you are, and you want to gain them as a client. But really in particular for this 4.1, you are working this entire proposal into here's why you should use a usability test. So what you're going to do is basically step one, tell them or show them that you know what their company is, what the website needs to be, and who their audience is. That's your introduction. Here's the website, here's the purpose, here's the audience. You're just basically kind of setting groundwork to say, look, I know what this website needs to do. I know about your company. I know what your clients need. So that's your first one. And then you're going to go on to kind of showing them the flaws, right? So this is your next section. Be sure that you're using images and screenshots and that you're labeling your images as figure 1 with the caption and referring to them in the text. So that's key for this one, right? You want to show them, look, I see these glaring issues right off the bat that are probably creating some problems for your clients. And then your final section is you are moving into proposing that usability test. So what you've done with this entire assignment is you've worked up to telling them, hey, to really understand what real users are having problems with, you need to take the time and money to let me do a usability test. So that's where the proposal is kind of culminating, right? Is to say, hey, a usability test is going to help us really find out how real users are getting along with the website. Think of this the entire time. The way you move an assignment from a BC assignment to an A assignment is the entire time, just like you were doing in the pop translation, you were relating it back to the specific audience, right? You're going to tell the website owner how this is going to help the audience navigate their website better, which is going to be beneficial to the organization, to the company, right? You're kind of selling them on, if you do this, say it is a university website, you're going to tell them how you're going to draw in more students and the top of the line students, the best students, you're going to get more people in. If it's a company, you're going to be kind of demonstrating how for that clientele they're looking for, it's going to grab them, it's going to help them spend money at their company or find what they need. So this is like the entire setup, right? Is that you're constantly showing how it's going to be financially beneficial to whoever the website owner is. So think of it that way. You're working all of this into that ultimate proposal for a usability test. To do that, in the first section, you're saying, I know who your company is, I know what you need, I know who your audience is, I know what they need. The second section is, here are the problems I see right now. I'm going to show you actual images that demonstrate what the problems are. And then the third is, hey, you know what's going to help us out with this? Practicing on real users to see what's going on. So 4.2, here's what we're going to do on this one. So 4.2 is going to be a fairly straightforward, this should be the easiest one that you've done in this entire kind of unit package. So you're going to basically just lay out the moves that you're going to make and then give them a quick why. So this is the big thing. It's the quick why that students usually miss in this one. As you're giving them the scenarios, as you're giving them the script that you're going to use, give a quick explanation of why you're using that script. So as you give them the scripted intro, before you give it to them, within your memo, tell them why you're using it, right? Like this script is going to be used to get the participant comfortable and give them an idea of what they're doing and give them time to just get comfortable with the situation. Just give them a quick why. And then when you give the scenarios, give the scenarios first and then give a quick explanation as to what the purpose of those specific scenarios are. So what you're doing this entire time is you're showing them exactly what the usability test is going to look like, and then you kind of give them the background of, hey, here's why I'm doing this, here's what the purpose of this is. Basically think of this entire thing as you're really showing them that this test is legit, that it's like making all these smart moves to make sure that you're doing everything you can to figure out how real users are engaging the site. And then you're also showing them like, hey, I have been wicked thoughtful of the way I've set this entire test up. So I'm going to make these people comfortable. I'm going to let them know what they can and can't do, so the test gives us the best kind of feedback possible. And here are the scenarios that have been really thought out that are going to test these primary and secondary areas that need to really work for you to make money or get students or do whatever you want to do with this website. So think of this as that, right? You're proving that the whole test is legit. You're showing them exactly what you're going to do, and you're explaining to them why you're doing it. And then in the final assignment, think of this ultimate assignment as kind of the website redesign proposal, right? So what you're doing with this is you're basically just saying, here's what happened in the usability test. As you're doing this, be sure that you use those screenshots, those images from the actual test to demonstrate to the client the places where the users had problems. Remember, showing them what happened is going to be more persuasive than anything else you can do. So when you say like, this is a major problem with the website, show them or use direct quotes that your testing subject actually said. Demonstrate to them, this is a frustrating place. This is a place that's losing students, it's losing you money, it's losing you clients. So actually show them by using screenshots and direct quotes. Another thing you're going to do is call back to what you've already done, right? Call back to the first memo, to the predictions you made. As predicted in the memo written on blah, 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 this certain area is really problematic for the users. If you end up finding an issue that wasn't predicted, be honest about that too. Like, call it out in the memo. You are saying what actually happened and really telling them, like, based on real user experience, these are the problems. So the reason you do that is you're going to think of this as building the relationship and the trust of the client. So when you call back to other memos, you're first saying, look, we've established all this stuff. Whenever you call back to the predictions you made, you are saying like, look, I knew this was going to be a problem. Here it is. When you admit that a new problem arose that you weren't expecting, you're building trust with them because you're showing them, hey, look, I'm not just trying to stick to the script that I predicted back when I wrote that first memo. I am really looking for how real users are interacting with the website. And so when you do these kind of moves that say a surprising problem that the user experienced was this, you're showing them that the test is reliable because you're not being completely biased and only looking for the problems that you'd already pointed out. So both of those are really smart moves. And again, that's what takes a C or B proposal and moves it up to an A, because you're making really smart moves that in like the real world, you're going to need to do this. You always want to build trust and build that relationship with clients as you're working with them in any capacity. This is one way to do that for this assignment. And then the end goal is just proposing the changes, right? Like you've set everything up, said, here are the main problems that we found, and here's the proof, right? Here are some images, here are some quotes from the person that did it, and then you're just going to go on to tell them, right? You're proposing the changes in this one. So think of this as the proposal to change the actual website. So let's, in a nutshell, do this. 4.1, you're working towards proposing a usability test. 4.2, you're proving to them that the usability test is legit and showing them exactly what it's going to look like. 4.3, you're showing them everything that happened in the usability test, and you're proposing the actual website changes and explaining how it's going to help their company. So if you kind of just think of it that way, I think it helps you kind of move through it and make everything make sense and help you get into the nuance of the assignment, but also in a more simple, kind of flattened out way. All right, so that's everything. Most importantly, though, have a great break. You guys have been great. This was an awesome class. I always wish I could meet everyone face to face, but it was great getting to know you online, and I hope you have a fantastic and restful winter break. You all have worked really hard, and do feel free to come by Tuesday if you have any last questions about anything, about the course, about this assignment, about anything at all. And if you haven't taken or done the eval yet, please do that at eval.ou.edu. That would help me out a ton. Thanks so much.